All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here at the Jesus Lounge Poolside Edition.
Dude,
we are
it's pool season,
New
baby.
venue.
We are here in
Well, it's not pool season, but
It's definitely.
we are just leaving it.
Just leaving it.
Yeah.
We're here in Miami, poolside, Venice, baby.
Let's go.
And we're here just smoking and toking and having a good time. So,
Miami, Tennessee.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Straight out of
Miami
Compton,
Ohio.
dude.
So
Yeah.
thank you guys for coming to hang with us. Tonight we're going to get into some real juicy stuff.
Dude, this is kind of just like a fun little layback
We're chilling.
podcast, just talking about things that, you know, just it's fun to talk about. And it is October, so, you know,
A little
Spooky season.
a little bit of a
Yeah.
spooky season going
edition.
on.
My favorite time of year.
Is it really?
Yes.
I tell you what, I used to be terrified watching Goosebump movies.
Huh.
Did ever watch-
Goosebump, you said?
Yeah,
Like the show?
Goosebump? Yeah, the show.
Yeah, dude. I read the
I've only
books.
seen like the newer
Oh, I
ones.
read every book.
See, I read the books. I didn't watch all the episodes.
Gosh, they
though.
were. They're probably super cheesy and terrible.
I wasn't
now,
allowed to.
but
Yeah.
back in the day,
Dude, the one
man,
where the guy grew hair all over his body, like the werewolf one.
yes,
I was like, let's get hairy. I don't remember what it's called.
Let's get hairy.
that's probably my greatest
Yeah.
Halloween memory growing up was experiencing Goosebumps. Shout out Goosebumps, bro.
Dude, absolutely, man. Camp Jelly Jam, the Curse of Camp Jelly Jam,
Yes.
dude. That was a crazy
That was a
one.
good one.
Sounds like SpongeBob.
A little bit, man.
Give me also the new
Jellyfish
SpongeBob that
Jelly.
just came out. Terrible, don't watch.
Is it a movie?
Yeah, new TV show that
Oh.
redid
the
it.
Patrick Star. Oh no, the camp, where they're at the little camp.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Oh,
It's like it looks
yeah.
like it's like 3D animation. It's weird.
Yeah, they
Looks
went
fake.
3D animation with
Yeah.
it, dude.
Chad, real quick, give us your favorite Halloween movie.
Monster House, dude.
Oh,
That's a great
classic.
movie. Have you seen that?
I have seen that.
Monster House? You seen Monster House?
I don't think so.
Oh
man, that's a classic, bro.
I don't know.
Oh, it's so
It's a
good,
cartoon?
dude. This house like comes to life.
Yeah.
Oh,
This
yeah.
old man
I've
lives
seen
there.
Monster House. That's a good one.
Oh yeah.
How
dude.
could you
Why-
forget?
I forgot the name for some reason. I feel like it was called something else. That's weird.
Yeah. How about you, Trey?
I watched it like a year ago.
Mark, what about you, bro? I'm still thinking.
Oh, he's still thinking.
I'm still thinking too. Favorite spooky season movie? I don't know. There's this show that me and Stephanie watch every year. It's called Over the Garden Wall,
Huh?
and it's like a 1-season show. I think there's like 5-6 episodes, and it's just like it's really really fall timey. My wife loves it, so I like to watch it with her.
Is it like the Secret Garden?
It's like these two kids who are like get lost in the woods,
Yeah.
and then there's like this beast that they keep getting warned about.
Dude.
It gets kind of dark.
Really?
It's cool though.
Remember Bridge to
Yeah.
Terabithia?
No,
Oh man.
you
That's a
just
classic.
it sounds like you're just spoken tongues.
I've ascended.
What are you smoking?
I'm smoking a Rocky Patel called The Edge.
Okay,
You?
I'm smoking Espinosa.
It looks like a Batman logo on
Yeah,
it.
it's got a little bat on it. It's pretty cool.
That's
A little Robert Pattinson vibe, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm smoking the old New World Order.
Dang,
Straight from the-
he's got that Illuminati pack.
Straight from
Perfect episode for that too.
Yes.
Dude.
Straight from the dungeons of the U.S. government.
Let's go.
Yeah, man. How is it?
First taste,
Yeah.
pretty good.
What's the fluoride count in it?
Fluoride count 3.7.
Okay. There's no conspiracy on how good that tastes.
Yeah.
There's no conspiracy. It's just straight experience.
Speaking of conspiracies, man, we need to start talking about these aliens, dude.
Bro, let's talk about
That's actually what this episode's about, man.
Yes.
Aliens.
crazy Halloween movie. Pause. Speaking of
Okay,
aliens.
Monsters vs.
Scooby Doo
Aliens.
and the aliens.
No, bro, the clown movie, the aliens, clowns
It.
from outer space.
Oh,
No, not it.
I haven't seen it, but I heard
You know
about
what
it.
I'm talking
Oh, it's called Clowns from Outer Space.
Yeah.
That movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Straight nightmares as a
Never
kid.
seen it, man. Never
Classic.
seen it.
So yeah. Anyways,
I'm not a
on
big clown
aliens.
guy. I don't like clowns, man.
Me neither, man. Hated him growing up.
Sounds
Yeah.
cool.
Nah, I wouldn't even go to the circus, bro. Give me your. Let's open the floor up, Mark. Let's talk about aliens, man.
Well, I think it's good to like kind of look at this because you know we are navigating through life using I think scripture, you know, the Bible to like give us perspective on things, and so
We're navigating in UFOs.
we're navigating UFOs now, and so we see all these things about aliens. You know, people going to Congress. We have Navy pilots, Air Force pilots going to Congress talking about how aliens are here. We got Barack Obama giving that famous interview saying, "Look, I can't tell you what all I've seen, but there are things that have happened." And, and so aliens seem to be on the forefront of everything right now.
Very,
So
yeah, and
from a Christian perspective, man, what does that mean if aliens are actually here?
Bro, obviously, if aliens are real, that disproves everything in the Bible. God's not real, and we all become atheists.
Yes.
Well,
No,
it's over.
I think personally, it's silly to say that if aliens are real, that somehow would disprove God in any way. Like what? How does that? Like what would that mean? Like we don't see anywhere in Scripture that says aliens are not real. Like I'm perfectly fine if we find out aliens are real, and they're not demons or angels or even from another world. They're just from another planet, which is very highly improbable. It wouldn't change anything about the gospel because the gospel is for humans. We are image bearers of Christ. And so if God created something, I mean, God creates planets and galaxies we don't know about. Why can't he create life on it that's made for his glory? I don't know.
Yeah, God's literally he creates the entire universe. And so instantly, if there are other beings besides us that we don't know about, well, those are still beings that God created, right? They're still creatures that God made.
Yeah.
I like to bring this up. It's like, how much of the ocean have we explored? And how many creatures do you think deep down in the ocean we don't know about yet?
100%.
Those are just as much aliens to us as if someone was living on another planet.
Yeah.
So I would say that the thing about, as far as anything disproving God, is every natural thing that occurs, everything that equates to reality is only proves God more.
Causation.
So to say that anything that happens when it happens in reality, whether that be aliens, evil, natural disasters, anything like that would be contrary to what we perceive as be like Christian, they only prove God more. So I don't think if aliens were real, if we had an alien invasion today, I don't think that anybody should have a faith crisis. Like you said, there's nothing in the Bible that really alludes to that. Yeah, there are hundreds of other species all across the galaxy, and there's nothing that alludes to saying that there isn't.
Yeah.
The Bible doesn't touch on every subject. But I would say that, once again, going to the saying that everything proves God, we have the ability to look at reality, perceive reality in the way that it's supposed to be perceived, and we can determine life in itself of, what's true, what's not true. I don't think that there's enough evidence unless it's presented to me and the U.S. government was just trying to hide it or whatever. I don't think that there are aliens. I've never heard someone make a really good argument other than a personal experience. Like, I feel the message of aliens and the message of Mormonism is about the same. You have one person or a small group of people explaining a personal experience that they had.
People believe it.
And so
it takes off.
Yeah. So I mean, as far as I see it, aliens and Mormonism are about as true as they are to each other.
I think too, like, it's kind of funny that every time we see something about aliens, like with this alien in Mexico, why do they all look like what a Western-minded person would expect it to look like?
That guy looks like SpongeBob at the end of the movie when they're all dried up.
Yeah. Like, the interesting thing is, which is so funny, is if you go to other parts of the world, aliens look different. Like, what their encounter with aliens might be is different than how we see them. But everything that's coming out about aliens, like UFOs and these big-headed green or gray creatures, it's like we just already have this preconceived notion. You think that if they're gonna, like, I don't know, it's like if there's real aliens, they're probably nothing that we've seen before.
Something outside of our comprehension.
Two things. So I did obviously some research. The two most plausible things for aliens being in conversation. The first one is the conspiracy side of things. People have conspired. Now y'all tell me if this is crazy or not. People have conspired that they have created this talk and this notion of alien. So, and this is what people say as population control. So they're creating this propaganda of a belief that there's extraterrestrials out there and there are these big bad people-ish creatures that are coming to harm us. So I don't believe this. I think it's the most plausible is the U.S. government and other nations have created this and they are going to disguise themselves as aliens,
Oh, Project Bluebeam, right?
yeah, to then attack communities, and it wouldn't be seen as like self-sabotage. So, for example,
Yeah.
the Phoenix Lights was apparently not aliens. It was apparently an actual government test on if they could populate the sky and make people believe that it was an extraterrestrial experience happening. And if people would fall for it, then they would say, oh, well, these people would literally believe anything. So if we literally come through in unidentified objects and drop bombs on them, and then have our news reporters report that it's an alien invasion, they're going to believe it. So...
Yeah. I don't know. That seems. I mean, I'm not saying I don't believe that couldn't happen, but I don't know if people would actually jump on board immediately. With
I think
Alien on
maybe.
that. You think so?
I mean, dude, I think people are. I think people. The
'Cause the
thing
notion-
about it is, dude, group thought is so huge. When when people want to fit in with something, they will believe anything to fit in. And so if this is pushed so much and certain people start believing, and people will believe just so they're not the weird ones.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And so, okay.
Gotcha.
We had this super intelligent, masterful creatures that are coming to this earth, and they've been outsmarted by the U.S. government, and now they can't reveal themselves to the general public.
Yeah.
I just, what kind of argument is that?
Also, if these are powerful beings, why are they being so secretive?
Okay, just take us over, bro.
Yeah.
Literally
It'd
end
be an
us right
invasion,
now.
man.
And why would
Yeah.
they take what is
Yeah,
their like?
What's the purpose?
It's just like, oh, like I don't know.
And like this whole idea that they would come to visit us. Highly us. We're the only like.
Why don't
It
they
just-
go to other alien planets? Is this only the only other planet? Like,
And dude, think about this, man. To literally travel
so much time.
okay, because we have determined that there's no other life in our galaxy.
Yeah.
So literally, for an extraterrestrial being, a
Light
physical
years.
living being,
Yeah.
either has to perfect time travel.
Mm-hmm.
They have to.
They have to live. Okay, so I've actually got notes about this,
He's
like
got
talking
notes.
about why like Interstellar, and there's a
Great movie.
There is a
Great
debate.
movie.
Great movie, one of the best movies of all time.
Literally.
And this is no time for caution, guys. And so there's an interstellar versus interdimensional debate
Okay.
on whether aliens are if we're witnessing aliens, are they from a different galaxy or are they from a different dimension?
Yep.
That's adjacent to us, but we can't see it
Yes.
because it's like in a different frequency or whatever, different dimension outside of space and time. And like one of the reasons why like Interstellar just seems so far-fetched is like you said, great distances. So like even at the speed of light, we're still talking about thousands of years.
Yes.
So they'd have to live for a long time. And like, what's the point? It just seems like a far distance to travel for something like this.
Sounds like us.
And there's this book. Let's see. There's this book called The Privileged Planet. I forget
Yeah,
I forget who the authors are, but we'll
How we're
put
in the
it down below.
Goldilocks zone, pretty much.
Goldilocks zone. Earth, like from what we can observe, Earth is like the only planet that can produce life, and it's not
And
just
sustain
it's
it.
not and sustain it. So it's not just water. Like we found water on other planets, but water is not the only thing. We also have the right amount of carbon.
Yep.
We have a protective atmosphere.
Yep.
The moon helps with our tides, and so there's many things very specific to Earth, very intricate to Earth. And so even the probability of, I mean, granted, it's a big universe, obviously, but within our observable universe that we can see through the James Webb Telescope, haven't found any planet that kind of falls under.
So that was my other point. Okay, so I think that the physical world being able to do it, travel at this time, the resources, everything completely out of the
Highly
picture.
unlikely.
It's almost, I mean, it's like 1 in 12 billion. Like it just is impossible.
Yeah.
If that,
And
yeah.
secondly, if they're that masterful creatures who have literally figured this out,
Yeah,
they
they've
wouldn't
cracked the
let
code.
the U.S. government hide them. They could literally, it's not, no. So secondly, if we're talking about the interdimensional,
Yeah.
which is a lot more likely, is, and so the story of God takes place way before the earth was created, way before we know any of expansion of the universe is taking place. We understand that there's a heavenly realm
Yep.
outside of space and time,
Yep.
where we then understand
Unseen.
at some point there was a wedge drawn in between God and the enemy, however we want to depict him as an alien looking creature or whatever. So then God understands that this is the heavenly realm. These people, they have waged war against God, but the war cannot take place in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
So he then creates this space that's held within time and space, as then he calls it earth, where he then banishes, and even Jesus says this in Luke 17, I believe.
Yeah.
He banishes Satan and his angels to earth.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, God is in heaven at one point with Satan. War is waged. He sends him to earth. War then takes place on earth between God and the enemy. God gets this a brilliant idea. I don't know, I'm glad it's because it puts me and you here. But God then says the best way to wage war against Satan is to create people in my image in the physical world that look like us, as he says in Genesis, probably speaking to the human-looking nature of Jesus, skin and bones.
Or if anything, just a character, like the likeness of God.
Yeah,
character.
understanding love, things like that. So then he
Multiple
puts us
things.
on earth to then go to war with Satan. We end up losing pretty quickly first quarter. They had us in the first half, but we're coming back. And then he says that he will crush the serpent's head. And he's alluding to that. Then Jesus is going to have to leave the heaven realm, come down in space and time, and defeat the enemy for once and for all. And then at the end, earth and heaven will then collide one more time. So I do think it's more in the interdimensional.
Yeah.
setting.
So obviously, like, God is outside of space and time.
Yes.
What?
Right. I know, it's shocking. And God is spirit. So obviously, this is outside of our realm. This is outside of our dimension. And so, heaven, hell, spiritual beings, spiritual warfare is taking place in a realm that we can't see. And the Bible talks about this. We've got a couple verses that we can pull up too.
Yeah, I would say definitely that, to me, that's also the most probable case. And like, no matter like the story or whatever, it's like definitely I would say that any kind of alien sightings or abductions or whatever, I would, and there's lots of good evidence for this, but would say is demonic oppression.
100%.
Yeah. And I've got something to talk about
It's also
in a
like-
second, what's called classic abduction syndrome. And we'll get there in a second.
So I think the more realistic approach on aliens is they are real, but they're spirit beings that are inserting themselves from a different dimension into our earthly dimension.
Yeah.
And whether they abduct people, whether they do whatever, I don't really care what they do. I guess I care what they do, but I don't care how they manifest
Pull up the
themselves.
Second Kings one first.
Yeah.
But I do believe that is a more realistic approach, and I do think that there's a good argument for it. And it would make sense if there are aliens that's what they are. They're extra.
I mean, as
terrestrial
Christians,
beings.
and we'll see this in a second, I think we accept that there is a spiritual realm.
100%.
And as Christians, we know that aliens aren't going to come and destroy the earth, and humans aren't going to destroy the earth, because God's going to destroy the earth.
Yes.
And
build a new one
and
and bring his kingdom down to earth. So I don't think we should have as Christians, we shouldn't have a fear, because we have a hope that these creatures are going to somehow throw off God's plans for
that's
for the
not
earth.
that's not gonna happen. So Second Kings, this is Elisha during is it the siege, right, of siege of Syria? They surround Jerusalem, surround Elisha, and I think you said,
I can start in verse 11.
yeah, that's fine.
And the mind of the king of Syria was greatly troubled because of this thing. And he called his servants and said to them, "Will you not show me who of us is for the king of Israel?" And one of his servants said, "None, my lord, O king, but Elisha, the prophet who is in Israel, tells the king of Israel the words that you speak in your bedroom." And he said, "Go and see where he is. I may send and seize him." I was told him, "Behold, he is in Dothan." So he sent there horses and chariots and a great army, and they came by night and surrounded the city. When the servant of the man of God rose early in the morning and went out, behold, an army with horses and chariots was all around the city. And the servant said, "Alas, my master, what shall we do?" He said, "Do not be afraid, for those who are with us are more than those who are with them." Then Elisha prayed and said, "O Lord, please open his eyes that he may see." So the Lord opened his eyes of the young men, and they saw, and behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire all around Elisha. And when the Syrians came down against him, Elisha prayed to the Lord and said, Please strike the people with blindness. So he struck them with blindness in accordance with the prayer of Elisha. And Elijah said to them, This is not the way, and this is not the city. Follow me, and I will bring you to the man whom you seek. And he led them to Samaria.
Yeah. So not only are like they there amongst the other people, these spiritual beings that the servant of Elisha can now see, because God has also allowed these spiritual beings to actually interact with the physical people, like blinding them, right?
Yep.
And so there is this like warfare happening. And then we also got Ephesians.
That sounds like an alien to me.
I mean,
Ephesians 6.
Ephesians chapter 6, yes, around verse 12.
So
Let's start there.
Yeah, I'll start in verse 10 because this is the beginning of the section. Finally, be strong in the Lord and in the strength of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the schemes of the devil. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the cosmic powers over the present darkness, against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly places. Therefore take up the whole armor of God, that you may be able to withstand in that evil day, and having done all, to stand firm.
Right. So there is a spiritual warfare. There's a spiritual realm. And
Yeah,
the
and it's
Bible
not flesh and
recognizes
blood.
it. It's not
It's
flesh
not
and
against
blood.
humans.
No.
It's not, yeah. And the Bible recognizes it. So I don't think there's anything wrong with Christians like accepting the fact that, yeah, these could just be, if they're not just like military aircraft that we don't know about, because there's also like, there's military tests and stuff like that. I mean, that could be it too. But even if not that, sure, there might be unidentified things that we can see, but there's, I mean,
But lots of those get debunked anyways, like weather balloons.
A lot of them
Like
get debunked.
it's pretty easy to just like, it's so easy to just trick someone into thinking something. Like, also, do we trust everything the government tells us? Because I feel like they've just been caught lying before. Like, we can't trust men.
I mean, we can't fully put our trust and hope in men, like you said. So
right. I think too, like Genesis 6, we see that there's people, these things called the book of Enoch calls them the Watchers, and we can kind of identify them with these angels in heaven, these spiritual counsel of God. And some of them decide not to follow God, and they say, hey, I like these women, I'm going to go sleep with them and have babies. And they make Nephilim, which are these giant hybrid creatures of angels and men.
Yep.
And we see that. And so these creatures are already not worldly. Those could be considered aliens in a sense, right? They're only half human. So like, if we see stories like this in the Bible, and then we see that God destroys these in the flood, but their souls don't be destroyed. They go down to Sheol and they take over Sheol. So we know that they're spiritual creatures, and I would say that's probably where we get a lot of like demons.
Yeah.
I mean, like, we see spiritual creatures like that in the Bible. I would say those things are still present today.
Yep.
And you talk about people being deceived by these kind of things.
Definitely.
So I want to kind of just read this and just get y'all's take on it. So I was just kind of looking into this thing called classic abduction syndrome. And this kind of is based off the fact that there seems to be like a similarity between people that claim that they were abducted by aliens.
Okay.
Not only has a lot of these people, it's similar situations. It's happened more than once, and they've always had something to do. Like a lot of them, had a prerequisite of like dabbling in the occult before something like this happened, right?
Ouija boards,
just anything that kind of opens themselves up to anything like paranormal. And so, usually an experience like this, an abduction experience, will be revealed or rediscovered by the person through hypnosis. So some kind of therapeutic hypnosis or something that they will remember it and be able to recount what happened after it had happened. So most of these situations, the abductions always happen at night while someone is sleeping in a bed, or at night when they're driving in a car. A light will appear and the abductee will pass out. They'll become paralyzed. They'll levitate through the roof of their house or the roof of their car, which to me sounds kind of like a near-death experience, like out-of-body experience.
Yeah.
The aliens will appear out of thin air. They'll walk through solid objects. They'll take the abductee to their ship where there are other aliens waiting there for them. They'll experiment on them with primitive tools, which I always was weird because like, why would these aliens who like master the art of like time travel or space travel use primitive
They
tools?
had the Home Depot hammer.
Yeah, I know.
So tripping
Yeah, it's very weird. They tell their captives, so this is a big one. They tell their captives that their intentions are good and that they're here to help, that they were the ones that created life on Earth and they're here to set things right after we messed everything up. Sometimes they'll disguise themselves as Jesus Christ or the Pope. So kind of interesting there.
Alien Pope.
And so if there are these good people that they say they are, like, why are they coming at nighttime? Why are they abducting people?
And claiming to be Jesus.
Paralyzing them, claiming to be Jesus. He had something?
Bro, that makes actually perfect sense. Like, when you think about the demonic realm or the mission of the demonic, the enemy, is to come to steal, kill, and destroy.
Sure.
Yep.
To what did you deceive?
Yep.
So literally, when people think aliens, they think, oh, destruction. Oh, they think, oh, God can't be real. That's a major theme line within it.
Yes.
They're disguising themselves with this. So to me, the argument that aliens are real
It also says that the devil comes as an angel of light.
So this argument that they're real, I actually think that they're right.
I think they're demons.
And I think that it's the demonic
Yeah.
realm entering our physical realm,
Yeah.
and they are unleashing their mission upon the human
And if you think about it, if you're already someone who doesn't have a spiritual mindset, you're not going to equate this to spirituality. You're going to equate it to aliens.
Yeah, 100%.
Because
And
you don't believe in
culture
that.
pushes it. There's movies. There's government is talking about it. You're seeing all this
And
on.
the majority of the people who, after their abduction, they usually enter into more occultism and
Yes.
paganism.
I was gonna say, most of them, their outlook changes, absolutely. And so, and
I've also heard.
why,
Sorry, go ahead.
I was saying, like, why does that happen? Why are they always? It's like you said, distracting or deceiving, like having them interested on the occult instead of like looking towards Jesus. They rather look towards the paranormal. And yeah, I absolutely think, and there have been reports of alien abductions being stopped in the process when they invoke the name of Jesus Christ.
Yep. They call
Which
out
is
to
interesting.
Jesus and they fall back into bed.
What does that mean? What does that sound like?
It sounds like
demonic oppression.
Yeah. Like they're literally scared of Jesus.
Yeah, and
and
why
his
would
name.
they be if
If they're from another world.
they're from another planet?
Yeah.
And
They
they're
wouldn't even care.
demonic.
Also, how do they know who Jesus is? Like, it's just like very obvious. They have one objective.
Yeah.
And I'll say this. So I think that what creates this idea of it is what I believe the false understanding of the universe. I think that God is primarily focused on heaven, and because that is where that's where his spirit is dwelling. That's his primary mission. That's why he banned Satan from it, because, bro, you can't be up here. Secondly, his second pursuit is the human creation.
Yeah.
Because he created us, he loves us, he died for us. This whole idea that there's this ever expanding universe, we have very little actual evidence for it. It's all hypothesized ideas. Like, yeah, look in this telescope. Like, what if you're looking? Some people say that if you go to the book of Isaiah, and the way that he describes when God opens up the heavenly curtains and he sees angels, the way he describes them, you zoom in on a star, it literally looks exactly how they angels don't look
Well,
like
the ancient Hebrew people thought that the stars were angels.
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah.
Angels don't look like me and you.
And also, angels are probably really terrifying
100%.
to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, to us
So,
on this side of glory. Yeah.
I don't think that there's billions and trillions of galaxies and there's this universe that. So when you pair this idea that the universe is ever expanding and a possibility of life is endless, with the idea that now these extraterrestrial beings are coming to, see us from these far out galaxies, then you do get this paranoia kind of, so people start to try to piece these false beliefs together. I think that Earth may be the center of the universe. I don't know. But I know that this is where God's main point of focus is. The rest of it is just a display of his beauty. And as Paul writes, I don't know if it's in Corinthians, he writes that God lifted him up into the heavens, into the sky, into the universe, outside of earth. And I think that the universe that we're surrounded by is just God's glory. I don't think it's a lot of extra worlds out there. I don't really. Once again, if aliens showed up tomorrow, I'm not saying it's disproving God. I just think that this idea of actual life existing
Like,
outside
If
of
anything,
Earth,
we should probably start evangelizing to them.
Yeah, right.
100%.
Like, what do we think though? Like, as far like, I don't know. Like,
Just give you an
how
update.
much do we trust, like, what they tell us about space, anyways? Like, I feel like so much has changed in history.
95%.
Do we think that moon landing's even real?
95%?
That's a whole nother.
90% of the ocean is undiscovered, but hey, there's this planet that could possibly maintain life 4 billion light years.
Yeah.
For what?
Yeah.
What are we talking about? You can't even tell me what's in the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean, dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, dude. It's just, it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
No.
But I
Yeah.
do think that if people start
That's why
to
the Earth's flat.
100%. if people start to see these experiences as is the story of God and the story of demons trying to deceive us away from the love of Christ, I think that people will start to make more sense of aliens and make more sense of why we're here and the whole purpose of life in itself.
Yeah.
I saw the other day. I'm in Nashville. It's about 10 p.m.
Yeah.
I look up in the sky and I see
yes.
10 lights in
Yeah.
a perfectly straight line
I saw it too.
flying through the air. And I think, that's crazy. And I knew what it was. It was Elon Musk's Starlink.
It was. When I first saw it,
system.
I had no idea what it was. I'm
But
like, okay. I
you
think
tell
these are
me
aliens.
that, like, if Elon never told us what he was doing, that people wouldn't see that and just think it's aliens. Like,
Oh yeah.
how much do you think of this stuff, like, is just created? We're not told about it.
Yeah.
And so, like, UFOs, someone could have easily created these things, send them in the sky, and people just believe it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah. But
That's a good point.
yeah.
If Elon never said anything, I mean, we could
I
have.
would say ghosts, same thing.
Yeah.
There's actually some Bible stories.
Interdimensional like demons or
Yeah.
even like
I would say it's demonic.
disguising
ones.
themselves.
I would say it could be the
as-
spirit of the Nephilim. It could be
If you see a ghost, you're seeing a demon, bro.
definitely
100%.
1,000%. Because
Yeah.
like, bro, there's a
If
story.
it's true. I mean, all of these like ghost hunting shows. I mean, that's
there's
all.
something.
Yeah.
I mean,
So there's a story in the Bible where Samuel, and I didn't know about this until a few months ago. Samuel,
Yep.
um,
calls up. Is it
no. So Samuel tells like Saul or
Yes.
Solomon or I don't know who.
Saul.
He's like, don't seek the Lord or whatever. I don't remember exactly. I'm gonna
Well,
butcher
don't
it.
call upon a person that's died or something
Something like that. Maybe Samuel is dead at this point.
I think
Samuel
they were
died.
trying to get to
Samuel.
Samuel.
Yes, Samuel.
It was
Solomon
Saul.
goes, or
Saul,
Saul.
yeah.
Sorry. Let me restart. Samuel dies. Saul goes in secret to this person who practiced divination.
Divination. Yes.
She's a wizard chick.
A
A
wicked.
witch, if you will. And he said, and he says, don't. He's like, can you bring up Samuel from the dead for me? And then she
Conjure
finds
him.
out, like, after that he saw, and she's like, you're not supposed to, like, you weren't supposed to come to me. Anyways,
Yeah.
she brings up this ghost, basically, of Samuel from the grave. It's a dream, it's a vision, but it's, like, super spooky, where
Yeah.
she, like, divinates this spirit up, and it talks to Saul.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I gotta find it. I'll find it. I completely butchered that. We'll put the reference on the screen if Chad gets to it. Yeah, it's crazy.
Holy
And it's like,
smokes.
is that Samuel or is that like a spirit? Like,
I would say it's pretty
If-
demonic if you're practicing
if we're in
divination.
heaven with God, are we even gonna know if people
No,
are trying
dude.
to conjure us up? I don't think so.
No. We're past this earth. Once
Exactly.
We're,
We're
in heaven.
done with it. We're done. We're like, I'm done. I'm out.
Like, and literally, Paul even writes that we're asleep, dog. We're not being divinated up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're sleeping,
Yeah.
waiting upon the return of the Lord.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Well,
I think any kind of those experiences, I know that, like, especially in the, worldly sense, we literally, people from the world push away the idea of demons, because if demons are coexisting,
Then God's real.
then God's real. So they
Right.
can't use that argument. It has to be something other than a demonic presence, because if it is demonic, then God's
And they're
God's
accountable.
story is at play.
They don't want to deal with sin.
yeah.
100%.
Right.
So
Well,
I think that's a good place to be at when,
Yeah.
when we're talking about aliens or ghosts. Goes a good point to bring up.
Also, why we shouldn't be scared if we have the
Right,
Holy
yeah.
Spirit living in us. Then, like, what do we have to
Hey
fear?
man, VeggieTales, God is bigger than the boogeyman.
God is bigger than the boogeyman.
One of the first
Bigger than Godzilla and the monsters on TV.
Wow. Wow, that's good, man. Those are the
Bars.
Those are the lyrics.
Yeah,
Yeah.
VeggieTales bars, bro.
Yeah, dude. Well, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, so I mean, I like this landing spot for aliens. I
Yeah.
think it makes the most sense. I think that
Yeah.
it doesn't refute the idea of them being here, and I think that when they do come into play into our world, it sums it up to
Yeah.
why they're here and their purpose.
Everything happens for God's glory.
Should I read that comment we got?
Oh
Read
yeah.
it, bro. Let's read it.
We got a hate comment, guys.
and then move on to those memes real quick.
Yeah.
Let's see the hate comment. I love hate comments, man.
Dude,
I love being hated on.
let me find it.
You know what they say, bro? They hate us because
They ain't
ain't
us.
God. And that we need a shirt with the Jesus
Sounds like
Lounge
a Taylor
logo.
Swift song, dude.
Yeah,
They
dude.
hate
She
us 'cause
actually.
they
That's
ain't us.
actually. Yeah.
Oh, that's a Swift.
Taylor.
Oh,
Well,
shout out Swifty.
There's, I mean,
Taylor Swift.
elements of that.
I heard Taylor Swift is demonic.
Yeah, it's one of the
Well,
shorts.
a guy at work told me that
I
she's a
think
robot.
it's you. Yeah, it's that one.
I think too, like we see like so many artists now, like it's like so blatant that there's like Doja Cat, like just straight up like, yeah, it's cool to be demonic now. Which like, bro, if these people really had an encounter with the devil,
They ain't on his team.
no. And the depictions of the devil, the depiction we have of the devil,
It's so elementary.
this guy with like the horns and the
Oh yeah, let's make you
this
famous.
literally came from the early church trying to mock the devil and downplay him, and we've somehow taken this like this is what he looks like. No, it says that he's a beautiful angel of light, and he's something that we probably couldn't even comprehend. Very deceitful,
Mhm.
and we try to play with it like it's something good, and it's like it's literally
In the
crazy.
end, man, when if you are in his kingdom,
The devil's not going to be torturing you in hell. You're going to be burning alongside of him.
literally,
Yeah,
he's not your homie.
no.
If
Let
the
me-
devil is your homie, get
So,
out while you can, bro.
on our last
with Elliot.
Yes, on our last episode with Elliot, we talked about mega churches and whatnot. And one of our shorts, we got this comment, and I don't know if have you read it or hate
I think
comment?
it's so. Give
Okay.
it to me.
It's funny. I am so done with religious videos in my feed. I'm glad you found peace in your life, but you found it in a lie. Just because you don't know you're lying to yourself and others doesn't mean you're not. Oh, what a natty atheist. This confirms my prejudice. I'm going to pray for him. You're thinking, don't bother. we didn't even this episode didn't even have to do with atheism or anything.
Nothing. We said nothing about no.
So
No,
they're
it doesn't
clearly
matter,
just
man.
feeling hurt.
If we are promoting the church, the Christian church, or
The
talking
funny
about
thing
Jesus
is
Christ.
you're lying to yourself, but you don't. Sounds like when Jesus describes somebody who's blind
Yeah.
and they don't know,
And of their father, the devil.
and they don't know that they're blind.
Yeah,
It's sad though, because it's like this person, maybe they've experienced some kind of hurt.
100%.
yeah.
It's like, this is the thing though. Like, they say, don't pray for me. Like, don't bother. It's like, if you are truly someone who doesn't believe in God, but there's some kind of potential, like, wouldn't you want someone to pray for you? Because what if that God ends
That's
up
what
being real?
the Penn and Teller, one of the guys
Oh yeah.
who talks, he's an atheist, but he says, if you have the knowledge that your friend is going to get hit by a train and you can save him, you absolutely should push him out of the way of the train. He's talking like, if you know that your friend is an unbeliever and you know like about eternity and what eternity is gonna bring, you
should
should
tell him.
you should evangelize to them.
Yeah,
You should,
absolutely.
I'll tell you this real quick as we on this point. Shout out Ruslan who needs to get on the show. Ruslan.
Facts.
He pulled up jelly rolls. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I saw that clip.
yeah.
It's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
You guys experience church hurt. I'm cool with it. I'm not cool with it, but I understand where you come from.
Yeah.
But first off, you see this play out in Acts. As these people get hurt by the people of God, people in the church are going to hurt each other. God literally called
We're
the
flawed
12 disciples hating each other. You don't think they got in major arguments that
Paul
Jesus
Paul
had?
talks about having sharp disagreements with people.
Yeah, I mean, he even told what's his name? He said, "Bro, we're splitting.
We're
up.
dipping.
We're dipping.
We're
Y'all go
dipping.
evangelize."
Is that
up here."
Apollos or?
It was
Barnabas?
Yeah, Barnabas.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's like, "Look, dog,
Yeah.
you're out over there. I'm over
You
here."
go to this
They
territory.
even tried to. Dude, Peter was getting on James's nerves so bad that he literally conned Peter into leaving because James wanted to be in Jerusalem, the church in Jerusalem.
Yeah.
So Peter goes to, Peter went to, did he go to Africa?
I don't know.
They made Peter dip because he was getting on their
Yeah.
nerves. So this whole idea that you can't be heard in church or disproves that all the entire message is wrong.
But they all worked for the same thing. They
Yeah.
found ways to all.
Yeah, and
preach
you
Christ.
have to, dude, when someone sins against you, Jelly Roll was sitting there trashing the church, and at the same time saying he believed in this God who calls him to forgive those people.
Yeah.
So if you're in a church that you have been hurt, stay there unless it's false doctrine being preached.
Or you're being molested.
or
Not true church.
Yeah, stay there and love those people through their sin because that's what God's calling us to.
Because
There's-
you're not better than
There's
them.
people in our church that have sinned against one another, and the act of God, Jesus says, the way you'll show the world is how you love each other. And honestly, he could have tallied in after you've sinned against one another, because that is what will show the true transformation.
You can't love someone that's easy to love.
Exactly.
Like, I mean, I guess you could, but like, love is literally about sacrifice. It's about laying down your life for someone who doesn't deserve
Yes.
it. No greater love does a man have than he laid down his life for his friends. What did Jesus do? He died for every single person who was undeserving.
Yes.
Exactly.
And that's our example. So that's
100%.
how we are
Yeah.
to love people.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. Jelly Rose, oh yeah, and
Yeah.
he was like, he said, bro, what did Jesus do when he ran into a prostitute? He saved her. And what does the church do? They kick prostitutes
He said,
out.
go and sin no more.
Yeah.
Right.
You
He
didn't-
also
you
says
didn't
that.
say that in there.
Yeah.
And then he
Yeah.
goes, and you know what Jesus told the Pharisees that were there? You probably screwed your side chick. Like Jesus didn't
didn't say
say
that.
that. He positioned himself as the only sinless person
Yeah.
who could condemn her, and he didn't.
Yeah. Exactly.
And he called her to live unto him.
Yeah.
He didn't call her to just continue being a prostitute. So yeah, if the church is saying that prostitution is bad, I'm good with that. We're not kicking those people out. If a prostitute came to TMC
We're not going to kick them out.
and wanted to be in our community and wanted to pursue a life of Christ, do you think we're going to tell her
But
no?
we're not going to approve their sin. It's the difference.
Yeah.
So if you have been hurt, unless it's to a high degree, I think that God is calling you to love those people. I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
if you
agree.
can't, then I don't think Christ is in your heart.
Hey, like, we'll take the comments.
Yeah, send the
Keep
comments, bro.
sending comments. Hate, not hate. If you
Whatever.
want us to talk
Hey,
about
come
a
on the
certain topic,
podcast, man.
Yeah,
if you want to
pull
come
up
on the
the
podcast.
podcast.
Hey, if an atheist is watching this and they want to come on the podcast and
Pull
talk with
up,
us, we
bro.
would love to.
Pull
We
up.
would love to just have a civil discussion.
And if you're in Cookville, we'll meet you halfway, bro. Pull up.
yeah,
I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
it'd be fun.
Because
Oh, cool.
I feel like we can present the gospel in a way that makes sense. I mean, and Ruslan just put a thing of Joe Rogan. Did you see that one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I wish there was a book or an
Oh, yeah.
instruction manual that would show us how to live life properly. I'm like,
And then he
dog.
goes through every
He was
verse.
like, there is.
Yeah. That's. Yeah.
It's great.
I mean,
Uh,
you don't even have to be a Christian to read Proverbs and get so much help out
Yeah.
of that.
Give us the memes real quick.
Let's
Yeah.
pull
Do you have
these
time
memes.
for meme review?
Dude, let's do it.
Yeah,
Okay.
come on.
I got broccoli cheddar soup waiting for me after this.
I got
Praise the
somewhere
Lord.
in
So
there,
my
too.
That's awesome.
I'm going to my parents' house. We're gonna eat some dinner, and then my dad is showing me this video on it's called cessationist or cessationist. So it's literally just about like, I'm guessing anti-gifts of the spirit, like
Yeah. They
existing.
believe
That
all
would
they
be-
ceased.
Yeah.
Right. So it's gonna be fun to pull up
about,
because
yeah.
he doesn't believe that they exist today.
And it's
Um,
funny, like the only one that I've seen cessationists say, okay, I think this gift still happens, is the gift of discernment.
Yeah.
That's like the only one they'll affirm.
Yeah, like, okay, bro.
That'll be fun. I love my dad.
Yeah, all-
Great godly man. So it'd be great to just open up the scripture.
They
with
all
him.
ceased except one.
Yes.
I have the gift of receiving, actually.
Yeah.
So I receive
I
other gifts.
have the gift of.
I receive offerings. That's my gift.
Oh, here we go.
All right.
Read it to us, Chad.
Me?
Yeah.
Christian. Okay, so this is just a little fun. Actually, let's.
we like to have fun here.
Let's end with
This
that
way.
one.
Okay.
We'll start this way. All right, so we'll start with this one. It's got a penguin or something on it. I don't think it's a.
I think no.
That's one of those
I don't really
birds,
know.
bro.
It's not a penguin. It's
puffin.
puffin because they have the browser. It's like the puffin browser. It's got that on it.
Oh wow, that's awesome. Well, it's an image of a puffin, but it says if you need.
Hey,
Puffin.
we've been puffing.
We've been
We have,
puffin.
dude. If you need the threat of eternal torture to be a good person, then you're not a good person.
Oh my god.
So it's like, I don't need a God to tell me it's evil to murder.
I don't think anyone's a good person.
But he did say that. Yeah, I mean, exactly. Yeah, no one's a good person.
It's not. This is the misconception with Christianity. We don't come to God because we're scared of hell.
Yeah.
I don't think that's accurate.
Yeah.
We come to God because we
love Jesus
come to
Christ.
this realization that there's something greater than us and that we're so undeserving, but he shows his mercy and grace towards us, and he died for us, and he wants to have a relationship
Because we're not a good
with us.
person.
Because we're not a good person, and we will never be a good person. And the good works we do are out of a grateful heart, not to earn any merit.
Yeah,
Exactly.
so, bro, and this whole idea of eternal torture, Daniel literally says heaven is full of people who are there on the primary reason because they love Jesus Christ.
They want Jesus.
They want to be around Jesus.
Daniel, our pastor at TMC,
Shout out
not
the
the
church.
prophet.
If you want to go to heaven, you have to love Jesus
He might
Christ.
be a prophet.
There's no reason for trying to be a good person.
This one reminds me of the comment that we just read.
Oh, this one's good.
Want to read it?
Yes, I am an atheist.
No.
You don't get to question my morals.
Uh-uh.
When you believe in a book that features blood, sacrifice, selling children, sex slaves, and bringing a sword between loving family members,
Probably
you don't
Abraham
even
and Isaac,
have to
right?
right to ask.
You don't even have the right to ask.
Oh my God. Okay,
Yeah.
they quoted no scripture. And they
We can't question their morals, but they can question our
So
morals.
just because a book contains something doesn't mean it condones it.
Okay, well, secondly, yeah, that was what I said.
Plus, like, are very out
Okay,
of
so
context.
all these are stories
Yeah.
of things that happen within the human existence.
People being
Right.
evil and God redeeming them.
Yeah. You know, I read a book about the Holocaust once. I mean,
Dude.
they're obviously condoning it because they
Yeah,
wrote about it.
Yeah.
They're writing about historical
Frank,
facts.
And Frank is a terrible human being.
Yeah, she wrote about the Holocaust.
Yeah,
That's
so
crazy.
It just, there's no
And
logic
also,
to
like,
this.
why can't we question your morals?
Yeah.
You get
And
to question
also,
you
ours.
get to question
Where do
ours.
your morals come from?
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so Ken Ham gets roasted in this one.
You gotta do it in his voice.
All right. Good eye. The eye is a perfect design by a perfect creator. Says the guy wearing glasses.
Dude, I'm out. I'm no longer a Christian. I'm out.
Dude, no way, man. They got us, dude. They
That's actually
burned
hilarious.
us. Yeah, okay, so just because something doesn't work perfectly doesn't means
But
that it's not a
Also,
great design or
God
perfect
made
design.
us in a nature, and we chose to sin. And because
Right.
of sin,
Now we
now
have to wear glasses.
we have things that defect us
Yeah.
and deteriorate us. If
Right.
we chose God and we stayed in the garden, we would have no need for these things because
Exactly.
we'd be eating from eternal life and we'd be
Yeah.
dwelling with God.
We would never die.
Literally.
We would end up having fully glorified bodies.
Exactly.
And we will one day in heaven.
Yeah,
And we won't need glasses.
yeah. Sorry, Ken Ham.
Thankfully.
Yeah. All right. There's not a single religion that can survive these two words. You ready? Prove it. Does that make sense? How about their theory?
Prove God doesn't exist.
Yeah, prove that God doesn't
Send
exist.
us the proof, dog.
I guess if you're talking about like
Source, I made it up.
like what kind of proof are you looking for? Are you looking for, because there's no such thing as like for this type of stuff, like obviously things that we observe we can prove whether something happens, but I mean God, like, yeah, we can't like prove it in the sense of like I can't just like, hey, look at that, that's God right there.
Well, here's the thing
I
is
think we
too.
could though.
So what they didn't put in that tag is actually more than two words. Proof beyond reasonable doubt.
Exactly.
So literally people get convicted of murder, not because there's 100% guarantee,
Yeah.
but because they were proven guilty because of reason above
Yeah.
reasonable
Based
doubt.
off of direct evidence, based off of
Yeah.
circumstantial evidence,
Eyewitnesses,
eyewitnesses.
accounts. So it's
So
above-
they never say, the judge doesn't say it has to be proved beyond a shadow of a doubt. They don't say that. They say proof beyond a reasonable doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all we can do.
Plus, like, dude, just look at anything in nature. Just like literally look at the the way that everything on such a small scale just works together. I would say
Right.
that's proof of God.
yeah, just look at our eyes, except for Ken Ham's and then ours. Don't look at ours.
Don't use our
But
use
the
my
perfect
eyes.
eye.
Tell me
Yeah.
that.
The
Tell me
20/20
that
vision.
aliens or any planet far away exists.
Prove
You
it.
can't observe it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Prove it.
I don't know. All right, when you get
Go ahead, Trey.
People should not impose their religious beliefs on others, which is why I'll use the government to impose my atheism on you. So,
that seems right.
hey,
right?
listen, you should never offend anybody. You should just accept everything for who they are. And when somebody wants to be a child rapist, you should let them. Never impose anything upon
Oh,
them.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
I hear this all the time. You shouldn't impose your religion.
Dude, that's my truth.
I mean, that's my truth. So
Yeah,
I can impose my truth onto you, but
You
don't
should
dare.
let me be a pedophile with no
The
consequence.
funniest thing about that, too, is they disapprove people who disapprove of them. So you're doing the same thing that you don't want to be done.
Yes.
You're imposing your beliefs on us, bro.
Yes. All right. It's just a fun one to end it on because it's Halloween's coming up, and we all grew up in church. Well, we grew up in church, but you've been around.
Yeah,
church.
I didn't grow up in church,
Yeah.
so this is
a heathen, you sinner.
Yeah.
So it says, so Christian kids on Halloween be like, sorry, I can't trick or treat with you. My parents said I gotta go to this thing called Hallelujah Night.
I've never been to a Hallelujah night.
I don't even know.
Church, like they like to throw their own like Halloween
Or like Harvest Fest because
Or
they
a
don't.
trunk or
Harvest
treat. There's a
Fest.
trunk or treat.
Trunk or
Trunk or
treat.
treat.
Come on, bro.
I've done those.
Fall Fest, you know.
Yeah, Fall Fest. Or
It's
the
like
one on where they do.
Hallelujah night.
I did hear horror stories of they creating a hell haunted house. And honestly, unless your kid is like dressing up as something super, just like, I don't know, like a
Serial killer.
yeah, like unless your kid dressing up as like Jeffrey Dahmer, then like let's go trick or treat, bro.
Hey, one person holds a day higher than another. One person doesn't, but let them do both to the glory of God.
Dude, like
Yeah.
I don't judge any Christian who doesn't want to celebrate Halloween. I mean, like you can look at the origins. It can
Yeah.
go both ways.
Yeah.
And like, dude, honestly, if you don't feel comfortable with it, that's your conviction.
100%.
Don't do it.
The thing is too, like
I agree.
you should do everything to glorify God.
Yes.
Right.
So if you're taking your kid out, it should be in a fashion that you can still glorify God.
Yeah, and that you're having
And
an experience with your child that is loving and is fun. I mean, I don't see
yeah,
not doing that and doing a Hallelujah night.
You
or
can
doing
definitely do Halloween without it being demonic.
Yeah,
And
100%.
or go to Hallelujah night.
Yeah,
man.
or go
I hear
to
it's
Or go to
good.
Hallelujah night. I'm
Who
sure it's
cares?
great. You're
Yeah.
praising God.
Who's hating?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got Ezekiel bread there.
They got everything.
They got
bro.
it down, dude.
Also, I found out this past week what it is. Don't ever invite me. A Passover dinner, do not invite me to one. I'm not
Why?
coming.
You mean a
Apparently
Seder?
No, apparently the food is terrible.
Yeah, a Seder.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
don't
Seder,
invite me.
Yeah, I went to one this year. They had the bitters.
Well,
They
Paul
had-
says we don't need to do these feasts anymore.
No, I mean we just did it just to kind of see what
See
they
what they did.
back
Yeah,
in the time.
Jack
Yeah.
took us through one in our
Did they?
community group.
Yeah.
once.
Yeah,
It was fun.
yes.
Yeah.
Don't send me that. I'm not going.
All right, Judas.
Yeah, but
Dang.
sorry, bro.
No, even he was at.
Yeah,
even
he
he
was there.
Even
Even he
Judas
did
was
it.
there, dude. Come on, man.
Yeah, bro.
All right, well, we're gonna wrap this one up. I think our camera, if you can still see us, I don't know, but
It's
we
getting
we are still here.
You guys like the outside setting? We might do
Yeah,
that.
a little
maybe
change
more.
of pace.
We
a
may
little
get one.
change of
We
pace.
may get one more in for the end of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
do
we'll
it.
shoot for it. For
Shoot
sure.
one, and then we'll go to the.
Cool.
It'll be 'tis the season.
Dude, absolutely.
Follow us on
On everything.
everything.
Especially TikTok though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
follow us on TikTok.
Just on TikTok.
We post shorts from our episodes.
Leave
there.
us
we,
hate comments.
We sometimes we post Q&As.
Yes,
That's
we
very rare though.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Sometimes
my
we do.
fault. I was supposed to get one out,
Dude.
and
Love your brother, man. That's all.
Hey, anyways, guys, hope
Thanks for
y'all
sticking with
got
us.
some insight on the alien
We love y'all.
stuff.
Yeah.
And y'all just keep doing your thing.
Ruslan,
Come
please.
on, bro. Pull up.
pull up.
Ooh.